Punching people is fun. Punching people is fun. Punching people. Everybody loves to punch somebody in the face.
The Shining Force arrived in the city of Alt'Eron. After enduring the tribulations of nearly drowning, throwing away money, and glaring old people, they finally reached the castle where they were promptly thrown in prison after stealing all the treasures. Luckily, a woman named Chris decided to free them so that they could in turn liberate Alt'Eron from the invading Runefaust forces. With the city saved, the Shining Force were directed to their next destination, the city of Rindo. The adventure continues.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to PlayView. The name's gurvmlk and I'll be your host as we dive back into the world of Shining Force, Legacy of Great Intention for the Sega Genesis. Do you wish to save? Yes. Chapter 2, Spirit of the Holy Spring. Max and the Shining Force followed Kane's trail to the town of Rindo. And we're at a new map. This game is divided into chapters, and each chapter has a different field, so we can no longer return to Alterone or Guardiana or any of that other stuff. So if we missed any characters or treasure chests, those are gone now. We can no longer go back. We're now at the second map of the game, which we will be spending the second chapter. Welcome to Rindo. Nova awaits you downstairs. What advice do you have for me this time, Nova? Zombies and other unnatural creatures suffer greatly from magical fire. That's very useful for the upcoming fight. But before we fight, we have a town to explore and lots of stupid people to talk to. I'm sure we'll find somebody who has something fascinating or crazy to say, so let's find out. Ooh, new weapons. We don't need... The only ones we need, though, are the power staves for our wizard peoples. I'm actually not gonna buy one for Tao, though, because she has her offensive magic, and even with a weapon, she's really weak. I typically just save 500 gold by not buying her a wooden staff. Besides, I think we will find a power staff somewhere at some point that I can just give her anyway if I really want to. But for the time being, let's buy a power staff for both Lo and Chris, because they actually need weapons to deal damage because they don't learn any offensive spells. Let's take a quick look at that. And... massive attack power boost. She's now one of my strongest characters because she just got her attack boosted by 8. Same with Lo. They are now among my strongest fighters in the party. That's why Gong has some problems, because he's advertised as being both a fighter and a healer mixed into one. But I feel like the problem is his attack power doesn't go up quickly enough. Especially because, I mean, Lo and other healers, they're also gaining attack power, not very quickly, but they are gaining attack power as they level up, just like Gong. And I feel like Gong's attack power doesn't increase quickly enough because he doesn't get any weapons. So, I find that he generally isn't able to, like, the power-ups he gets from his level-ups don't tend to outspeed the attack power boosts that the healers get from their weapons, from what I find. And then he's also not as good of a healer as them, so he just kind of suffers. The name's Boken. I'm going crazy in this dull place. Does anything ever happen? Well, if you come with me, stuff will happen, but you don't have a portrait, so... that's out the window. Circus coming soon to this location. And there's where all the circus stuff is. In this one box. And maybe this barrel. They won't let me inside. They say I'm a bad actor. What do critics know? Probably a heck of a lot more than you do. Rindo Theater, actors and actresses wanted. The play's about to begin. It's about Runefaust routing Guardiana. Want to see it? Hell yeah! Go sit down, it's starting! Let's take our seat and watch this play out. Thank you for waiting. The show will now begin. Take that, you Guardiana wimp! And that! And that! Please don't kill me, mighty Runefaust Knight! Please! You're too weak to live, you lowly worm! Take that!
Ah! You've killed me!
So shall Runefaust's foes always fall! Pow! Bang! Smash! Clap, clap, clap! Thank you and come again! Clap, clap, clap! We're looking forward to your next visit. That was not a historically accurate reenactment. I always enjoy these plays. The glory of Runefaust should be wonderful. Go, Runefaust, go, Runefaust. A fine play with strong performances all around. I've seen it many times already. Maybe because that's the only play they have going right now. Let's go talk to the actors. What a rotten role. I can't stand this much longer. He looks nothing like me. What a great role. The actor's life is for me. So they only like roles where they win? I don't think they understand what it means to be an actor. Guardiana's Princess Anri is in Manarina. I hope things are quieter there. This path looks like it goes under the house. So I guess this must have been just a dirt road at some point and then they just built over it. The legacy of the ancients? Go to Manarina and ask the mages. They'll know. Yeah, because apparently the people in Manarina know everything about everything. Or so I've been told. When I get older, I'll have a shop of my very own. Speed ring! That's an accessory we can give to somebody. Throughout the game, you'll find a few different rings. And a character can have one weapon and one ring equipped at a time. I'm actually not entirely sure who I want to give that to yet, so Max will just hold on to it for the time being. Sorry, stranger. Soldiers bought almost all our ships. That one is the mayor's. Yep, the circus tent will be right over there. Croc the Genius, that's me. Look at my steam suit. Guns, walk over here. It still doesn't seem right. Silence! Just do as I ask. Okay, okay. It stopped! Not again! Oh dear, well, back to the old drawing board. I'm still working on it, but the steam suit is almost done. Whew, it's heavy and hot. So, there's a crazy old inventor working on some steam-powered suit of armor. I'm sure that will be nothing. That Dr. Croc! What a brilliant man, but no common sense. When you reach Manarina, see Otrent. There's nothing he does not know. So now we know who we need to see in Manarina. Our son is just dying to see the circus. My father is the mayor of this fine town. He's right here. Yes, I am the mayor. Cain of Runefaust bought all our ships and sailed away. So sorry, no ships are left. My ship? You can't have it. Now please leave. I love the circus. So we've been told by the mayor to leave, so that's our next goal, is to leave the town. Have you seen our theater? There's a new play starting today. Go see it. If the play just started today, then why is that old man already seen it several times? Does he really have nothing better to do with his time than to just sit in a theater and watch the same play over and over and over again? Later games in the series replaced the talk command with a status menu so you can look at your party members without having to go to headquarters, but this game had some problems. Yeah, see, look at that. Just because of that one weapon I bought, now suddenly both Lo and Chris are stronger than Gong, despite also being at lower levels. And Gong is supposed to be a mix between a fighter and a healer, while those two are just healers and nothing else. They really dropped the ball with this character. I'm just gonna go ahead and do my usual and give the speed ring to Gort. That way he's a little bit faster. He's kind of slow as is, and I like him getting more turns so he can kind of lead the charge. He's a real vanguard character, so I want him up front and center, getting those first hits and then luring in the enemy attacks to him. Our enemies seek to stop you from reaching Anri in Manarina. You must succeed. So we've got a new field to explore now. Now, we can check the map, which is something I forgot to point out before, and the red dots are the enemies, the green dots are us. We got this large field that we have to cross. The desert's gonna be a little annoying because it will impede our movement. And this is the very first battle in the game that is actually difficult. I know I've struggled a little bit in some of the earlier battles for stupid reasons, but as a kid, this was always the very first fight in the game where I actually felt like it was a legitimate struggle because of the final group of enemies up top. Those zombies are a lot of trouble. They have high defense, they hit hard, and they can poison you, but they're weak to fire, so it's really good to have Tao at least level 4 by this point in the game, so she can have Blaze level 2 for dealing with those guys. We're finally done fighting Rune Knights. We don't have to worry about them anymore, yet strangely there's still a few dark dwarves, which I find kind of odd because the Rune Knights are the more dangerous enemies, so I feel like those 3 dwarves should be knights instead. It just seems like a strange difficulty progression to keep the weaker enemies longer than the stronger ones. I'm almost there. I could have probably engaged these enemies by now, but I want to keep my characters closer together. As a kid, my strategy in this game, or the extent of my tactics, if they could even be called tactics, was just, if there's no enemy, just move as far as you can. Just take the character, whoever's turn it is, and just move them as far as they can go. And don't worry about if characters get separated. I wasn't concerned about that. I just need to keep moving, charging fast, get in there. If I can attack an enemy, I attack them, unless I wanted to feed the kill to somebody else. Like back in the day, I would have just gone there and attacked. But I don't want to quite do that. Especially if I can use 1 or 2 of these dwarves to get a little bit more experience points for my healers now that they're stronger. Who should go in there? Ah, dang it. Dwarves just took their turn, so I was hoping I could get a quick attack in right away, but I guess that's just fated to not be. Let's create an opening in their formation at least, so I can start getting some other characters in there. Hans has gained 3 level ups, and I don't think he's gotten any stronger with his attack power. Now the bats are moving in. Let's try to break the line. You can do it, Ken. Or not. And now we're bottlenecked at the bridge until I can get one of those dwarves out of the way. Fortunately, Ken shouldn't have to worry about survivability against those guys. If a couple of them attack him, he should be fine. I'm not concerned about his well-being. He has plenty of hit points, good enough defense, I'm sure, and any injuries. I have 3 healers in my party at this point in the game. For years, growing up playing this game, I would always have 2 healers in my team. But as the years went on, especially more recent years, I've been opting more to use just 1 healer instead, to try and make the game a little bit more difficult, which it kind of does. But it also makes the game kind of easier. It makes the game easier in the sense that I have more strong fighters in the group, but it makes it harder in the sense that if I lose my 1 healer, I don't have a backup. And that was the mentality for me having 2 healers when I was a kid, was so if I lost 1, I would have a second one to fall back on. Hans needs to get this guy out of the way. I need to start breaking through this formation. Now, hopefully, I can squeeze 1 or 2 guys in there before an enemy screws everything up. Although Ken actually wants to pull. No, he should. I think he should be fine. If I could just get another character in there to be taking some of the hits, then Ken should be able to survive this. I don't think I need to pull him out. Not exactly who I was hoping to get in there, but it works. He can take hits as well. I'd like to get some kills on these guys with my healers, but I don't know if I'll really get that opportunity. Okay, Luke, just kind of back up a bit. That would be perfect, but there's people in the way, so let's blast this bat. Weaken it a bit. I want to be conservative with Tao's magic points a little bit, though, because I want to make sure I have at least 1 or 2 casts of Blaze level 2 for dealing with the zombies once I get to that point of the battle. Otherwise, there'll be a lot of trouble to deal with. Really wish I could get in there with my healers to start dealing some damage, or anybody really at this point. If I can just get one more enemy out of the way and then just get some people through a hole. The bat's getting another turn, really? Swap to the spear. And then hit this bat for something. Alright, there's an opening. Now if I can just get some people through it. That was a good level up. Alright, I'm actually glad that he went for max, because now I can break through the formation. Oh, come on, Max. I'm actually gonna have you go after this bat. Wait. Yeah, because I don't want that. I don't want to risk the unlikely possibility of that bat moving onto the bridge and then just getting completely in the way. So I'm gonna block off that possibility right now. Ken is getting injured, though, so I need to get somebody in there at some point to heal him up. Another level up for Luke. Nothing exciting, but at least he's stronger now. Every little bit helps. Ken is just surrounded, so I can't really heal him, even if I wanted to at the moment. So, of course, Lo again has nothing to do. Actually, Hans is kind of hurt, so, here you go, Hans! Eat this herb that still has dirt all over it. Oh, come on. That wouldn't be so as missing that bat wouldn't be as annoying, but it's made more so by the fact that it was an opportunity to get more experience points for the healers. I know I keep going on about feeding my healers, trying to get experience points for them, but I do feel it is really important to get them early kills, get them experience points at the beginning of the game. Otherwise, they just because they'll end up falling behind anyway. Even if I do this at this point in the game, eventually, once I get later in the game, they're gonna fall behind because they're not getting kills. So I just really need to get what I can now, so they're less behind by the time I reach the end. So I'm actually gonna try to, because the bats are not a threat, so I want to try to get some healer kills from them, because they're not very strong. So I'd like to see if I can manage a way to get Chris and Lo these kills of these bats, especially since they're just ganging up on Max, so I can use that to kind of manipulate them a little bit and control what they try to do. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to have happen. And now Max is asleep. I'm not gonna heal yet. I'm gonna wait until after the bats are dead, so I can heal him fully without having to worry about him missing 1 or 2 extra hit points, because it still might take a few attempts for Chris and Lo to actually kill these bats. Yes, Max is asleep. I would assume so, considering he just got put to sleep while asleep. So it makes sense that he's asleep. That takes care of that. And now I'm gonna have Chris heal Max. And then, I'm gonna wait for Max to wake up before moving on. And make sure everybody else is fully healed up as well, which they should be enough. I don't want to take any risks with Tao. I know she's only missing 1 hit point, but I still have to get her up there to blast the zombies, and there's a mage and a couple snipers to go through, so I do not want to lose Tao before I get to the zombies. I will sacrifice other characters, any other character except for Max, if I have to, so long as it keeps Tao alive. Oh, finally! I don't know if I've ever seen the sleep spell last that long before. Usually it wears off after just 1 or 2 turns. But that lasted like 4 turns. And into the desert we go! You know, if the grass could be textured, why couldn't the sand? I mean, they could have used the exact same effect of just the simple dots to make it look like it's actually grainy instead of just a flat sheet. I don't see why they would give such special attention to the grass instead of the sand. If anything, the grass should be the flat color and the sand should have the texture, if you ask me. I've always found the plainness of this sand just to look really strange, especially when everything else is detailed or textured to some capacity. Speaking of the sand, it's really difficult to move through, so it's slowing our characters down quite a bit, especially the centaurs. They suffer the worst from it. Yeah, some other characters can only move 2 spaces as well, but a lot of them are dropping from 5 movement down to 2, whereas the centaurs dropped from 7 to 2. So it's quite an impediment for them. As is any sort of real terrain, centaurs just can't move very well across anything. Whereas with someone like Gort and Luke, they have 6 movement, but they can move 3, so they have less natural movement than the centaurs, but through the desert they can move further. And that's an early example of how the character classes or races can affect how well characters move in certain types of terrain or how strongly they're impeded by it. It's not just knights though, there are 1 or 2 other centaurs in the game who are not knights, but they suffer from the same mobility issues in the desert. So it's less about job class and more about the species of the character. This isn't a particularly good situation though, because everybody is bunched together, so if that mage gets another turn, he could blast 4 people at the same time with his blaze magic. Fortunately, I've got my 3 healers and I've got plenty of magic points to recover from the end. Here it comes! Flaming Death. So long as there's no critical hits though, we'll be fine. Just gotta take the guy out and then we just gotta take a couple of turns to heal. I want to get rid of this guy though, because his turn will be coming up sooner more than likely. So while he's in general less dangerous than the wizard, I wanted to get him out of the way first. Tao can't reach, I need to get rid of that wizard. By any means necessary. I actually should have retreated with Max, just in case something went wrong and I missed or something, but I didn't want to risk losing a bunch of other characters as well, so I really just wanted to take the chance and get that wizard out of the way ASAP before I had to lose anybody. And now to spend a bit of time healing. Lo learned the detox spell earlier, I forgot to really point out, and all that does is heal poison, which isn't particularly special because very few enemies inflict the poison status effect in this game, and it's not an especially dangerous ailment. At the end of your turn, if you're poisoned, you take 2 damage. That's all it does, and it's regardless of your hit points, so whether you have a maximum HP level of 10 or a maximum HP level of 50, it still only does 2 damage. So this early in the game, it's kind of a problem, because every point of health you have counts, but later on it just becomes kind of pointless to even worry about poison. It's very likely I'll go through the entire game without using the detox spell once, but maybe we'll get to see it. Who knows? Unless you're in a really weird position though, I feel like in most cases, even if a character is poisoned, you're better off just healing them with the heal spell instead of healing their poison, because the heal spell can restore about 14-15 hit points, and that's 7 rounds of poison. You will get hit by poison 7 times in that amount of time. And both spells cost the same amount of magic points. If you heal poison with detox, you could just end up getting poisoned again. So it's just really stupid. The only Shining Force game to do poison right, I believe, was Shining Force 3. If I recall, in that game, they made poison a lot more potent. Still not especially dangerous compared to other status effects like sleep and confusion, but definitely far more threatening than it is in any of the other earlier titles. So finally, by the time they got to Shining Force 3, they got poisoned down right. Or at least right enough to where when you get poisoned, you're like, oh shit, I'm poisoned. I gotta do something about it before I die. Not just, meh, I'm poisoned. Maybe I'll heal it if I care enough to bother. Slowly making our way up to these guys. A lot of battles in this game can be kind of tedious at times because of the terrain. The later titles were better about it, but this first Shining Force game really just loves throwing these outside stages at you where you can barely move and it takes forever to get anywhere. But, you know, that tedium is just part of the experience, and considering this is, I'd have to say among my top 5 favorite Sega Genesis games, I can't really complain about it. It just is what it is. It's part of the experience, so yeah, that's all there is to that. I just realized I moved Gong closer than I would have liked. Alright, let's start blasting these guys. Light up the zombies! Give them hell, Tao! A good 10 damage. Which is a heck of a lot more than anybody else can deal against these guys because they have ridiculously high defense. Get rid of the mage. He's the more threatening adversary just because he can blast our guys with magic, hit groups, deal a lot of damage. The zombies are dangerous, but I'm more concerned about the mages because so long as I can keep Tao alive, she can dish out lots of damage to these zombies and deal with them. Get our hit points up. Every hit point counts now, so I really need to get everybody up to snuff for handling this situation. Because this is where the battle boils down to. This part right here, I used to struggle with a lot as a kid. This was why I actually found this to be one of the hardest battles in the game, and to a degree I still kind of do. I would love to get in there with Max, but if those zombies gang up on him, he'll be taken out. And sure enough, the zombies got a turn. Both of them. Max would have died if I sent him in there. But now Tao's in trouble and oof. Oh, good, she didn't attack. It didn't attack again. Heal up, Tao. But yeah, those guys didn't attack Ken. They're doing something else. But I guarantee if Max had been within range, they would have prioritized attacking him, and I would have just lost the battle unless they just happened to miss. Now I feel a little bit safer because they just went, and it's been a little bit of time. The round has advanced a little bit more, so I feel confident that Gong will be able to get in there and save the day. Speaking of which, I don't want to put Mei in the way. I would love to put her there to block them off, but she doesn't have any healing items. And I need Gong to be able to reach Max. Let's get that mage out of the way. Okay, good. Both wizards are now dealt with. Now I just gotta hope I can restore Max's health. I wish Luke wasn't in the way. Get some more fire off. With her, I'm more concerned with weakening the zombies than killing them. Especially because maximum amount of experience points you can gain in this game from a single attack is 48. I'm pretty sure this one is 48. And so, that's one of the problems I have with AoE spells in this game is you can blast at like a large group of enemies, take out like 2 or 3 enemies with one spell. And while that is good for winning the battles, it can hog a lot of experience points because you can end up getting 49 experience, or 48 I mean, for killing one enemy. Or you could end up killing like 2 or 3 and still only get the 48 experience, which could then have gone instead to other people. So while taking out large groups of enemies in one shot is good for winning the game, it's not always the best for leveling up your characters, because that means you're losing out on experience points that could have been gained, so your overall level ends up being a little bit lower. Which is fine. It's more important to succeed in the battles than worry about how do you miss a zombie. It's more important to win the battles, of course, than concern yourself with level ups. There goes Tao. At least she didn't take that 12 damage the first time she was attacked. It's interesting that she took 12 now and not last time, but at least she got off a second Blaze level 2 spell to weaken these guys and get me in an overall better position. Yeah, she's gone now, but the situation is stabilized enough where I don't really need her anymore, so it's an acceptable loss. Going after Max, of course. Oh yeah, he only had 9 hit points before I healed him. He would have definitely been taken out earlier if both those zombies could have reached him and went for the kill. That worked out perfectly! Unless Gong misses. No attack power that time. So he's still behind Chris and... His level is double Chris's, yet her attack power is higher because of that weapon. Yet he's supposed to be the fighter-healer hybrid. She's just it... Oh, Gong, you are just so ruined. How do you miss a zombie? You better not die because of that. Ah. Lo, clean up this mess. Max, now enter Manarina. We must inform Anri about Guardiana. Yes, let's go tell the Guardiana princess that her father is dead. Welcome to Manarina, a land of magic and mystery. We're sorry about attacking you, but we thought you were from Runefaust. So it was them who attacked us. So sorry about the attack. We can't be too careful in these troubled times. Yeah, I suppose. Feel free to wander about as you please. Thanks, that's exactly what I plan on doing. In tight places, such as caverns, look before you leap into battle. Plan ahead. Pretty sure that applies to every battle, not just ones that are inside caves. But, okay, whatever you say. Manarina Mage School. Yes, I am Anri. What? What about Guardiana and my father? Who are you? I don't have to listen to this nonsense from someone I don't even know. Go away now! Wait, Princess Anri, please listen to Max. Nova! This is Max. He is leading the fight against the Runefaust army. But my father, the Sword of Light, and Guardiana, is it true, Nova? Yes, your majesty. It is all true, I'm afraid. I need to be alone for a while. We understand, your majesty, but do not let your grief overwhelm you. I must be alone now. Max, Princess Anri is in great sorrow. Please go to her and talk to her. Remind her of her duty to Guardiana. Our people need her now. So now we gotta seek out Anri and talk to her. What a mess. Won't people ever learn not to use blaze inside? Does that statue have boobs? Har har! Judging from that laugh, I guess so. You're just in time. Would you like to observe? Yeah. Good. Sit quietly and watch a master at work. I'm researching summoning demons. Now I'm going to begin the experiment. Maybe I should stop you from that experiment. Because we don't need you summoning demons. We have enough going on dealing with Runefaust to have some crazy old guy summoning demons from another dimension. I shall summon forth a dreadful thing from my worst nightmares. Come forth, O creature of darkness. I conjure you forth. Huh? You! When are you going to stop these tricks? Come home right now! Oops, sorry dear, I'll never do that again. Yes, I'll be good, honest. Have you already seen the Pool of the Ancients? No. The pool lies beneath this building. They say it speaks, but only to a chosen few. Beneath this building lies the Cavern of Darkness, a horrible place, they say. A cavern. Where have I heard speak of caverns before? It's a good thing I just got tactical advice about caverns. Shh. But I'm doing a Let's Play. I can't. Shh. Sorry, no time. Got to study. Maybe later. Shh. Go away. Yes, it's also clear now. What? What is that? That's lovely. What is that? Hello, don't usually get guests here. I'm thought to be rather strange, you know. Yes, I would assume you're strange keeping that thing as a decoration. We got an egg! Is it that thing's egg? Does that thing lay eggs? Is that thing even alive? I have something for you. It's inside that fake monster over there. Go get it. It's a Domingo egg. A very useful item. Hatch it when you get a chance. Come back before you leave. I may have some information for you. Do you have that information now? No? Okay. Where am I? Don't tell anyone I got lost. I'm too old to get lost. But isn't getting lost part of being old? Welcome to my research room. I change humans into animals. Care to give it a try? Okay. Very good. Let's start right away. Please stand over there. Now, let's begin. Yes, success! What a tasty looking hen! If I could change humans to hens, we will never have to worry about food. But they're still people. I mean, their body isn't human anymore. I mean, at that point, where do you draw the line between eating a chicken and cannibalism if the chicken was a human before you turned them into a chicken? Where is that? Where do you draw the line for something like that? What in the world is a hen doing here? Shoo, shoo. Like, seriously, I don't think she's thought that plan through very well. What's up, hen? Seeing you makes me hungry. I wonder what's for dinner.
No, no,
Things are getting stranger around here every day. Oh, Max, it's nice of you to try to cheer me up, but I'm not fond of hens. How do you know it's me? Well, what a cute little hen. Go on through. Can I see that sign from here? VIP Mages Lounge. Huldgert turned you into a hen? That's easily fixed. How is it easily fixed? If she needs some crazy technology to turn a person into a hen, why is it such an easy thing for you to just remedy? You did well to reach this room. Have you ever heard of a place called Shade Abbey? No. It was founded long ago by folk from Guardiana. They know much of the ancients. So there's some information on what we may need to do next. A hen went in and a person came out. What a great place to work, huh? I don't know. Think I've had enough of this place. This place is too busy. I can't do my research. My name is Arthur. I used to be a knight. I'm not really a battle type. I like it here. I know my duty now, Max. It is to hunt Kane down and make him pay for what he did. I'll fight with you. I'm sure that's what my father would want me to do. Yes, every king wants his princess to go into battle. But, I mean, why wouldn't he? It makes perfect sense for the heir to the throne to risk her life doing a soldier's job. A job that takes years of training to do. I'll be at headquarters. Vengeance shall be ours! She's nothing worth really looking into as far as stats goes. She's just another mage, so she's the same class type as Tao, but she learns different spells. Whereas Tao's specialty is blaze magic, Anri's specialty is freeze magic, so she uses ice elemental spells. So ice is a little bit stronger than fire in general. The only sane person in this land is Otrint. Everyone else is really weird. I am Otrint. You wish to find the key to the accursed door before Kane of Runefaust? Well, yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. A legend tells that the pool of the ancients below is tied in with the accursed door. To reach the pool, you first need the orb of light from the cavern of darkness. Defeat the monsters in the cavern, and the orb is yours. Then return to me. Max, enter the cavern and retrieve the orb of light. So there's our mission. We gotta enter the cavern of darkness and retrieve the orb of light. The cavern of darkness lies beyond. Only the strongest survive its trials. What is that? That tile for my whole life has always perplexed me. You would think it's water? Maybe like connecting to the cave through some underground river or stream or something? But you can step on it. What is that blue spot? I hate it. I don't know if I will ever see you alive again. Good luck! Behold the dreaded Cavern of Darkness. You must defeat the monsters to gain the orb. Alright, we've got another battle to win here, this time in the Cave of
Darkness.
It's a bit more claustrophobic from a lot of other battles we've been doing. Most of our fights so far have been outside, so this is a bit of a change of pace. These zombies, though, are not threatening. They won't move, so it's a good time to kind of get some experience points with some people. I usually like to use them to get Anri equipped level up because she's kind of behind everybody at this point. So I'm just gonna work on that real quick before engaging the battle proper. Oops! I forgot to heal Luke's poison. Hang on. There we go. Really? I guess I just wasn't paying close attention to the math involved in that. Whatever. I guess we're kind of starting to advance a little bit on the enemies now. This may be a little risky, but she's about to gain a level anyway, so let's just try to spread things out a little bit more. Let some of the people who are a little bit behind deal with that zombie, like this. I could have sworn level 4 is when... I always forget. I always feel like level 4 is when Anri learns her next spell. I think because I used to grind on those zombies until she learned freeze. Whereas now I just kind of like kill them and mostly with her and then move on. So my memory gets a little screwy there on a regular basis. But now we can engage the battle proper. And that would be a terrible place to put Hans. He'd be within 3 enemies' attack ranges, and the enemies aren't moving. So there's no reason to take that kind of unnecessary risk. Ken, however, will get in there to deal some damage to this zombie. A decent hit. Only 1 hit point. I mean, not every level up can be an incredible hit point boost. I saw that coming on my... Oh shoot, that's gonna take Anri out. Dang it! I didn't think that far ahead. I really didn't want to lose her like that. That was stupid of me. I mean, I knew that blaze was coming, but I just didn't think it all the way through. I just felt like, okay, my characters will get hurt and then I'll heal, but I forgot to take into account just how little hit points Anri had to withstand that hit and that she was within range. I got ahead of myself trying to deal with a situation that didn't really need a quick resolution. And that was the consequence of my haste. But now I have cause for haste, and that was a perfect critical hit from Gong to get that guy out of the way. Now it's a little bit more safe for Hans to move in and start battling out with the enemy archer, which she should be able to outmatch. There are treasure chests lying around in the battlefield, but we can't search treasure chests during battle, so those are just gonna have to wait until I have the opportunity to do that. Another good level up for May. I feel like a good level up is anywhere at least one stat increases by more than one. Unless it's agility, because that's kind of a useless stat compared to others in the game. Oh man, I'm really bummed out about losing Anri like that because I really wanted to learn her next spell during this fight. So that way it would be nice and ready for the next one up ahead. Which I usually accomplish. I mean, I usually forget that it needs 2 levels instead of just 1. But still, I generally manage to get her up to level 5 so she can have that ready right out of the gate for the next fight. Fortunately, the next battle has a sort of leisurely moment at the beginning that I should be able to pull that off. So in the long run, it shouldn't be too much of a problem, but it's still a drag that had to happen, especially because I have all these bats to deal with, and having just one more spell cast from her would help deal with them. But it is what it is. Nothing can be done about it now. Just have to keep marching forward. Get this guy out of the way so I can start oozing my party across the bridge. Next obstacle is these bats. Fortunately, they're not blocking my route. Just get in there, Gort, and start wailing on them. They won't be able to really hurt you anyway. You've got plenty of hit points and plenty of defense power. And that level up didn't assist with your survivability against them to any capacity. But, you know, I'm not concerned about you getting taken out by these guys anyway, so it's hardly an issue. Man, I am just wailing on these bats in this playthrough. For all the terrible luck I was having in some of the earlier episodes, the bats are not causing me nearly as much of a problem as they usually do. Usually they're constantly putting characters to sleep and are just the most difficult things to hit. But this time I just feel like I'm not having that kind of difficulty with them in general, aside from some sleep and the occasional miss that's because of their ability to fly. Wow, that guy just beelined past everybody straight to Max. Why would a bat even be intelligent enough to know who my leader is and to focus fire on him? Of all the enemies I fought in the game so far, I feel like a bat would be the least likely to have that level of intelligence. Yet it just flew right past like 5 or 6 other guys that were directly along its route just so it could attack Max. And do like no damage in the process. Every time I attack a bat with Gong in this game, it makes me think back to a long time ago when I was writing a fan fiction of this game. I went through the whole thing. I skipped over a lot of the story because I really didn't honestly remember a lot of the details of the story. Because back then, when I would play an RPG, I would skip a lot of the dialogue my second time. First time playing, I would read the dialogue so I knew where to go, and then in subsequent playthroughs, I would ignore most of the dialogue because I thought it was just a waste of time to sit there reading when I already knew what I needed to do. And I wasn't as concerned about what was going on or why I was doing things. I just needed to know what I needed to do. So this fanfiction glossed over a lot of the story, covered like none of it. If you had never played the game and were just reading this story, you would have no idea whatsoever what's going on, or who the characters are, or what their motivations are, or anything. I just focused mostly on the battles. That's what I was interested in writing. And the battles were exactly like they are in the games, as far as the enemies. Like, exact same enemy count, exact same, like, layout of the battlefields. battles. But most of the enemies, though, would die in just 1 or 2 hits. And members of the Shining Force were rarely defeated. Also, there's no party maximum, I believe. Like later on in the game, I actually had all the Force members participating in the battles, rather than just having the maximum of 12 that the game restricts you to. So I would just write out these detailed combat sequences involving the enemies and the characters. Like I would describe, like, this guy moved into the enemy, this guy engaged this enemy bat and did this, and so on. It wasn't especially detailed, but I mean, this was a long time ago, so the writing was kind of terrible. The reason I bring this up, though, is because whenever I attack, there were some standout moments that I recall from it that were just, I don't know, just particular battle sequences I remember. And one that I, for some reason, never forgot that I've always remembered very distinctly was a sequence that I believe was during this battle, and it involved Gong taking on a bat. And I always think about it whenever whenever I attack a bat with Gong in this game, I always think back to that particular sequence where I remember him just jumping up, grabbing the bat by both of its wings, and just tearing the bat's wings off, just jumping out, just using his brute strength, ripping off both the bat's wings, and then his corpse just dropping dead onto the ground. So I just am frequently reminded of that whenever I see Gong attack the bats. And I believe that was kind of a thing in the story. I believe Gong was oftentimes the one I had taking out the bats, either Gong, mages, or archers. And there's another instance, I believe, that also was during the same battle. I don't know why I remember instances from this particular battle so vividly, but I remember another moment that was just kind of weird, also involving a bat, where Max was fighting a bat, and to deal with the bat's ability to fly, he removed his cape, tossed it at the bat like a net, snaring the bat in the fabric, and pulling it down to the ground, and then just stabbing it with his sword. I had violent deaths in that story that were much more gruesome than anything that ever happens in the game, because I was trying to translate the game while staying as close to it as possible for this writing. So there's a little tidbit about me and this game personally, and just an expression of how much I loved this game as a kid, because I never wrote any other fanfic in my life so specifically tied to a specific game. I have written a couple Pokemon fanfics over the years when I was younger, but those were never so directly tied to one specific story. They were just original tales written by me without any connection to any of the games or the anime or the manga or anything like that. It was just purely my own thing. So this was the only game where I wrote something like that was just so specifically and directly tied to the events of the game so accurately, aside from the omission of the story, because I didn't care about that part. I even wrote a sequel. I called it Shining Force 3. I don't remember if I knew there was a Shining Force 3 game at that time, or if that game was even quite out yet. But after I finished writing the story for Shining Force, I skipped Shining Force 2. I didn't write a story for that. I just skipped that one and went straight to writing my own original story of Shining Force 3, which I made as a direct sequel to Shining Force 2, despite the fact that I never actually wrote a Shining Force 2 story. During my time writing Shining Force, I came up with these ideas for an original story that I wanted to write. So, I worked on that. That's a story, though, that was never finished. I don't think I got very far in it. And even if it were finished, I wouldn't be able to share it with people anyway, because that was ages ago, and neither of these stories exist any longer in any form. Alright, that reminds me, I also wrote a Mega Man fanfic ages ago. That was even longer ago. So there's actually another example of writing something like that I did once that I completely forgot about until just now, which is funny because that actually does still exist. So it's weird how you can remember and forget things like that at times. Only got this skeleton left to deal with, and he's just gonna sit there and take the abuse I throw at him. So let's see if I can get Chris in there to finish this guy off. Blaze will be too much, so Tao can just hang back. Hans can weaken it a little bit. Why does a skeleton need pants? May should be able to weaken it a little bit as well. May also needs the experience points, but... And she's not very strong either. She's a pretty weak fighter, but I still feel like I'd rather give the kill to Chris. I think. How's her experience points looking? She's actually kind of close. Low's closer. Yeah, but Gong won't get as many experience points because he's at a higher level. So, I think I will give it to Chris. Part of me wants to give it to Gong because he's further away from leveling up, but I'm not sure if he would gain quite enough from this guy because he's level 6, whereas Chris is level 4. So she'll get more experience points out of it anyways. Everybody fully healed. Is there any more quick experience points I can eke out from healing anybody? No, okay. So we're good to wrap up this battle, I think, just as soon. Actually, I might need to weaken this guy down to 1 hit point just to be on the safe side because of the land effect bonus. I'm gonna go ahead and do that because if he counterattacks on Chris, if she, for whatever reason, doesn't kill this guy and it counterattacks, that'll be a problem. Wait, counterattacking isn't in this game. Derp. But if he, well, I don't even mean counterattacking that literally. So let's cut that counterattack remark because that was just a big old screw up. Final blow, don't miss. You didn't miss, you did it. And good old level up. Now she has heal level 2. That's useful. No, it cannot be after all these centuries. Max, the orb of light must be within that chest. Take it quickly. And we get the orb of light. As you just saw also, Chris learned heal level 2. It's actually not any more powerful than heal level 1. It heals the same amount of hit points, but it has a longer range. So you can cast it from further away and heal people you might not be able to quite reach with heal level 1, be it because you can't move far enough, or there's just other characters or enemies in the way. It's not especially useful. It's definitely, I feel, the least useful healing spell in the game. I rarely use it, but it has its purposes. It's very helpful to have when it's necessary. There's the power ring. I can give that to somebody in a bit. They can equip it to increase their attack power, and you can also use it to cast a spell on an ally party member to increase their attack power. And there's that power staff I mentioned earlier. So we can give that to Tao, so she can have a little bit more strength. Not that I'll ever be using basic attacks with her anyway, but just in case, it's better than just sticking with the wooden staff for no reason. Oh, there's one more chest I almost forgot. So we've got the Orb of Light. We're leaving the Cave of Darkness. We can now advance the story further, but that's gonna have to wait until next time. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do the things. You've probably figured it out by now if you've actually been following this series from the start. And with that, I'll see you next time. We just acquired the Orb of Light, so let's go talk to Otrent and see what he has to say about this. To cross the sea, take the I forgot to bring Anri back to life. And this spirit appears. So now we have our next objective. We need to get a ship from Rindo to continue our quest, and here we go! First boss battle of the game. And it's weird. Hans can help with that, depending on some good 1992, 1993 AI. I'm gonna blow through this battle without losing anybody or even giving him a turn. Clap, clap, clap. This is bad. That sounds pretty urgent. But first, we have to talk to people, and got some money for it. Whatever you say, Nova. Actually, I'm gonna redo that.